All right, theorems about roots of polynomial equations. So now we're finding all of the possible roots that these things could possibly have, and then we're going to factor them down. So when you're doing problems 1 through 6, all they want are your possible roots and then your real roots. Okay, so possible roots. Whenever you're trying to find your possible roots, you're going to take the factors of the constant over the factors of the leading coefficient. Okay, factors of the constant over factors of the leading coefficient. So here, for this equation here, your constant is 2. What are the factors of 2? Just 1 and 2. Leading coefficient is 1. So all of your possible roots, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2. 1 over 1, 2 over 1. Those are your possible roots. To find your real roots, you graph it. So take out your calculators or Desmos. Graph. Where does it cross the x-axis?
1.
So my real root is at 1. And that's all that it's going to want you to do on the problems 1 through 6, or 2, 4, 2, 4, 6. Find your possible roots, and then find your real root by graphing. When you get to 7, we're now going to factor these all the way down. So when you are factoring these, what I call these is factoring the big dogs if you're talking to the upper division kids. So the first thing you need to find, possible roots. Factors of 10, 1, 2, 5, 10. All over plus or minus 1. So those are your possible roots. 1, 2, 5, 10. All of those being either positive or negative. Second step. Graph that to find a real root. So graph that bad boy. Where does it cross? 2. So my real root is at 2. So here comes your synthetic division so that we can figure out what our other 2 roots are, because you should have 3 total intercepts or 3 total roots. In the box goes your real root. Coefficients 1, negative 2, 5, negative 10. Nope. Nope. You do not flip the sign on that. Good question. So 1 times 2 is 2. 0. 0 times 2 is 0. 5. 5 times 2 is 10. Boom. That just proved that that was definitely a real root. So what we're left with here, when you drop this down, so here I'm going to have x minus 2. Now flip the sign when you put it into the parentheses. And then you're going to have x squared plus 5. So there it's factored. Totally factored. To state what this root is, I know that this is 2, And I know that this root is plus or minus I root 5. And if you have to, set it equal to 0 and solve for it. So then you get plus or minus I root 5. Instead of trying to eyeball it. So here it is factored. And then there are your roots. And how many do I have? 3. How many should I have? 3. All right. Now for these. Skipping over here to 13. I've got 2 roots. I've got root 5 and negative 13. When you are putting these into parentheses, because we're going to want to write the polynomial, you're going to do x minus the root 5. You need to have its conjugate. Okay, you need to have its conjugate, which means I need to have a negative 5. Remember, whenever you take the radical, you should always have a plus or minus. So then I'm going to have an x plus root 5. Here, I'll have my x minus root 13, but then I should have a what? X plus root 13. Okay? Because when you're writing a polynomial out, and I'll show you when we get down to foiling these bad boys. When you have your polynomial written out, are you ever going to have like a root 5 in there? No. Are you ever going to have an I in there when we get to 19? No. So, when I FOIL these two, x squared, root 5 minus root 5, those middle terms cancel. So it'll be x squared minus 5. When I FOIL these two, what do you think that one's going to be? Then you FOIL these two. X to the 4th. 13x squared minus 5x squared is negative 18x squared. Negative 5 times 13 is 65. There's your polynomial. Notice it looks like a normal polynomial. Okay, looks like a normal polynomial. And number 19. So this is 1, 0. So that was normal. And then we have a 3i. So I know it's going to be x minus 3i. I also need to have its conjugate. Okay, got to have its conjugate. So I'm going to need to have a what? X plus 3i. So I'm going to leave that x minus 1 alone for a minute. FOIL these. So you get x squared plus 3i minus 3ix gone. Negative 3i and positive 3i is negative 9i squared. What does I squared equal? Negative 1. So that turns it to a positive 1. X minus 1, x squared plus 9. FOIL it. So we get x cubed plus 9x minus x squared minus 9. And then just write it in standard form. X squared minus, or x cubed minus x squared plus 9x minus 9. Okay.